Right. Hi, Americans, and this is the team of people who've been producing the video you're about to watch. My name's Daniel,
I'm Emily.
I'm Michael.
and we're all part of the first Claremont Scout Troop of South Africa in the Western Cape. So just before we start off with what's going to follow, which is going to be amazing, just introduce you to what we do and what's our troop about, and all that. So I'm part of the Swifts Patrol, which is the best patrol in the troop. I'm the patrol leader of that patrol, and I had a very pivotal role in creating this film.
Okay, I'm Michael. I am the Supreme PL. I look after the other lesser patrol leaders, and I lead the best patrol, which is Bats. Daniel's lying.
I'm Emily. I am not a patrol leader. I am assistant patrol leader. But that's okay because they still listen to what I say. I'm also in BATS, so I'm Mikey's APL.
So just a bit of history about our troop. We were founded in 1908,
Yeah.
which makes us actually the oldest troop in South Africa and one of the oldest in the world.
The first scout troop was founded in
1908, but earlier.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like a couple months before us.
So we have a lot of history. Stuff happened by the troop was founded by Mr. French in 1908, and then stuff happened 100 years, and then we came along in 2012
And
started making
made
things
everything
awesome.
better.
Hope you enjoy the video you're about to watch.
So within the troop, all the scouts are arranged into patrols, and there are 4 patrols, and they each have 8 people in them. In First Claremont, our patrols are called Bats, Swifts, Books, and Eagles. Bats are the best, then Swifts, then Books and Eagles are kind of like tying for 3rd place. The patrols are led by a patrol leader who's P1 in the patrol, that's those 2. Then there's P2's the assistant patrol leader, that's me. And then we have P3, P4, all the way down to P8. And the youngest scouts are P8, and then you go up until you get to the cool people in P2 and the lesser cool people in P1.
Michael's an exception to that.
The patrol leaders are in charge of the decisions made in the troop. They have a court of honor in which they uphold the honor of the troop, and they make important decisions like who goes on which competitions and what happens next, and they handle all disciplinary things with input from the troop scouter.
They also help to choose the next patrol leaders, so we don't elect our patrol leaders, and they aren't necessarily chosen because of how old they are or even how experienced they are. It's based on what the other patrol leaders, the previous patrol leaders, the scouters think, and then they'll make a decision, and if that person doesn't work out, they'll just choose another person.
The governing body of the troop is obviously the court of honor, but we run and we do normally a meeting, which is about a 5-hour meeting every 2 months or something like that, which is quite hectic.
The core aspect of our scouting is our Thursdays meetings, which happen from 7 to 9 p.m. All our meetings begin in full uniform with an opening ceremony. One of the patrol leaders goes to the flag, breaks it, takes 2 steps back, everyone salutes, and then he says a short prayer. The patrol leader on duty rotates every week so that each patrol has a chance to do it. After that, there's a short inspection, and then we remove our shirts and scarves and we play a game. Normally the game's quite active, there's a lot of physical involvement, and then we get on to the core of our meetings. These vary wildly, so sometimes we have things such as fire putt-putt. They're normally quite creative. Sometimes we have stalking, we have learning to camouflage ourselves, lots of different aspects, a lot of teaching. We also have things like cooking, making waffles, and in most of these meetings there's an interesting concept like you have to cook 2 meters above the ground or something. And then we also have meetings which are not in our hall, we do things around our hall in other places. And then one of our biggest things is pioneering big things that we can go on rides, foofy slides, all of that kind of thing. And then finally at the end of the meetings we all get into our uniforms again. The patrol leader went up in the beginning, goes up again. He goes up, lowers the flag, takes 2 steps back, goes back to his patrol, and then we all do a right break and leave.
The troop does many activities, one of which is...
And we are on the hike in Skating Gorge, which is really close to where we live. because we live in Cape Town and there's a mountain right next to us.
This is one of our favorites, and we hike in many different spots, such as Table Mountain or other less known areas. It often requires compass and map work, which is not demonstrated in the following clip.
We are going south, so 180 degrees. The river has gone over the path, so we are going to attempt to cross up there, where Tillman is.
We either hike for a day or overnight, but sometimes even longer. Obviously, the weather doesn't always favor us, but we try to keep smiling and carry on walking regardless.
And it's raining. There we can see a wild Daniel doing his thing. And then over here we have our chopping block with authentic axe and also dog. Careful dog, that's a cliff. Then over here we have our flagpole. It's very, very straight and up and stuff. It doesn't even move. Okay, it moves a little bit, but it moves. It's sturdy and strong. And we've got our wash basin here. And that's our camp, yo!
So on troop camp, we have communal meals when our food is prepared by the scouters, or we have patrol meals where we get raw ingredients and we prepare the meals and a judge eats with us. We also do lots of different activities on camps, such as an obstacle course where we build everything ourselves. We build things such as swinging on a rope, crawling under a tarp, balancing on a pole. You also have to carry something with you as a kind of extra patrol member. We also do community service for the areas in which we camp to help improve the areas for other people.
We moved a log that weighs about 1 ton.
Might be a bit of an exaggeration.
That point to this point, using 8 people.
Other camps we do involve survival camps where we learn important skills for surviving in the wild, such as building water filters or making food using only a knife and our fingers. Disgusting. We also do things such as learning how to build a trap. We also do other camps such as patrol camps where the patrols get a sense of belonging and we break people's flagpoles. Kloofing is a different type of hiking in which we hike through valleys or over beaches. It's a type of hiking where instead of normal hiking where we're afraid of getting wet, we actually try to get wet while we kloof. It involves a lot of jumping off cliffs into the lower pools, and that's actually one of the best aspects in my opinion about kloofing, is the jumping off high cliffs. Obviously you're going to get wet, so the packs have to be rather watertight. This is a different type of kloofing where we normally go through valleys. Here it's on a beach where we can see lots of penguins normally. It's quite fun. The jumps vary in height, so you normally get 2-meter highs, or maybe this one, which is 10 meters up. And you jump really high and it's really cool. And here you can see our scout, he's about to jump off. Look at that, he's so cool.
Using cement foundations so that they can weld the tractor to it, so that the tractor doesn't move anymore. That's basically what we're doing.
Community service is an important part of scouting, especially in South Africa, with the amount of underprivileged people we have, and it gives chance for the scouts to give back to the community. There are different types of community service, such as cooking soup, or painting houses, or building houses, or other things like that. Or here, where we cement a tractor to the floor so that people won't steal it, because we're in South Africa.
This is David Knight. He is our troop scouter, and he's going to tell us a bit about how scouting works in South Africa with all the different levels.
Thank you. Okay, so at the top we have national. National would deal with the places, the jamboree, international relations, and coordination of the top body of scouting in South Africa. Below that are the 10 regions. Each one of those is headed by a regional commissioner who can apply for the position and is then selected by a national. The district commissioners are below the regional commissioners. They report into the regional commissioner, and under each district commissioner is a number of troops or groups. Each group can consist of cubs, which is ages 7 to 11, scouts, which is 11 to 18, and rovers, which is age 19 to 35. Most groups only have a troop and a cub pack. Some are just a cub pack, some are just a troop. Inside each troop, there is a troop scouter who is the person responsible for running the troop. And he reports to the Scout Group Committee. The Scout Group Committee is headed by the Scout Group Leader, who is responsible for the whole group, Cubs, Scouts and Rovers if there are. And the committee itself would deal with infrastructure. They are responsible for maintenance of the hall if there is one, provision of equipment, money, transport, catering if there's an event, but they are not allowed to interfere with the running of the troop or the pack. Thank you. Scout South Africa is a single entity. Every region, every troop, every group belongs to the single entity, and it's essentially, if you want to look at it as a division of a single group, then everything is just a division. We are most troops are what we refer to as traditional. They are pretty much self-contained. We don't have any allegiance to schools or churches or non-governmental organizations. In some parts of the country there are quite a few school troops. In KwaZulu-Natal there are a great many school troops, but in the Western Cape they are the exception rather than the rule.
Kontiki is a competition where the troop builds a raft that will accommodate 6 scouts for 24 hours in the middle of a lake near the sea. On this raft they have to make food, do STAs, spare time activities, and as well as just try and survive on that raft for 24 hours. There are about 20 other troops who do it, and at the end the troop with the most points wins.
Gordon's Shield is a standing camp competition. A patrol of 8 has to pioneer a campsite and complete STAs, which range from making matchstick boats to rope men to cooking to writing journal logs of cowboys for the longest 24 hours ever.
So guys, here I am on a scouting competition called Rain and Trophy, and our team is comprised of Junior and Kenya. We're walking in the Lamidberg Trail, I think it's called, somewhere up in the mountains by the Dutoit's Kloof Pass, Baines Kloof Pass, I don't actually know. So the trophy is basically just walking around, doing bases and stuff. We have loads of fun, I think we do. There are 23 teams, we're team number 22, but currently in first place. And yeah, so it's been a hectic weekend. Like yesterday was not that long, but quite a few bases. Today's been long. We hiked around that huge koppie over there, and hopefully we're almost done. So I reckon we're nearly at the end. We're doing pretty well.
In our province we have these things called badge courses. It's when we go to a place for 2 separate weekends and we learn a large range of skills and then are tested on these skills. In this way we pass off some of the harder badges. These badge courses are a lot of fun and are a fantastically good place to meet scouts from other districts, other troops, other places around the country, and you make some really rad friends that you keep forever. The badge courses include things such as pioneering, first aid, backwoodsman, helmsman, mapping, air navigation, air traffic control, and things like lifesavers.
Scouts in South Africa is organized into 5 different advancement levels, which allows scouts to get a feeling for what they aim for in their scouting career. When they enter scouts, they start off as a pathfinder, which is the most basic level of scouting, and it's just learning things that people teach them, such as knots or mapping. After that, they move on to a harder level of that called adventurer, which is harder knots and harder stuff that they learn, but they're still learning and there's not much practical involvement. Moving on from there, we get to first class, which involves a lot of leadership and start training the pathfinders in doing the stuff they need to do. So it's a cycle that trains the people at the bottom. Moving on from there, we get explorer, which is a lot more leadership than first class, and explorers teach adventurers and first class as well as pathfinders. From there, our last level, which is springbok, is the hardest level,
which involves a lot of leadership, and they just teach everyone down. So explorers, first class, adventures, and pathfinders.